But then when I was in high school, my sister and I used to walk 2 miles every day to go to the high school from out on Jacqueline Drive. And we walked down this street every day, and every day I looked at this house and said, I love that house. It was especially that window that I loved, for one thing. And I said, I'd love to live in a house like that someday. And here, the worst time of my whole life, when I figured I was going to be in a project in Cleveland with my kids, I ended up in this house.
Well, I don't know if you've heard, we engaged a company called The Collaborative to do an update of our master plan. They pointed out to us that the North Campus had beautiful green space, the North Quad. And when you got to the Central Campus, there was really missing that green space. So one of the things they promoted was this massive green space that would run in front of Student Union, would go all the way up to the rec center. Actually, Jane Miller, who I think you met, showed up at a community meeting we had in November, December. So she kind of saw it, and being an intelligent person, she saw this beautiful green space and parking space in her house sitting there, so it wasn't, too unobvious that we desired that.
Well, we've been told green space by some people, but other people call it a parking lot, so I don't know. It's been a wonderful house, so.
A couple things were in the way of doing that. On Jacob Street, there are some homes there. 2 of the properties we do not own. 145 and 151 Jacobs are owned by Jane Miller is in the one house, and the Bowden Millers, a couple, is in the other house. So we approached them to see if they would be interested in us purchasing the property and either buying them out and letting them buy a house someplace else, or if they wanted to have us actually physically move the houses.
Actually, we were told that we could also look for houses. Well, I found a house that I liked just since December. And they told me they were going to demolish it if I didn't go forward with it. And I could not do that. So I thought, well, I'll get the house moved and then I can either build or buy a house like this other one that I like. After it's done, I may like it well enough that I'll just want to stay in it.
So after they evaluated their options, they came back and they wanted to go with the move option. And so the 2 houses we don't own have to be relocated here so we can implement this phase of the master plan.
My kids all say, if these walls could talk. I mean, if that's about all the stuff I don't know about that went on here.
In probably the last 3 or 4 months, we've been negotiating how we're going to physically move their houses and get them relocated. We've engaged a company called AA House Movers, highly recommended. They do this as their sole business thing. So we negotiate with them. Then we probably went to the Planning Commission, I would say probably starting in April, May. Probably came back in June to get final approvals. Then you have to work with the city engineering, so we had to get a survey of the property, work with the city after the meetings to make sure we're doing the drainage, the layouts, things like that. So it's probably, with the homeowners, the discussion started, November, December. Probably the first time we took it beyond the master plan was probably April, May, June for the committees to get through.
They are also giving us an addition, which is going to be 16 by 20, and it will have a full bath, which would be, it's going to go out off of my dining room, full bath and a walk-in closet and a 12 by 16 bedroom, so that's good size.
And the house mover will be coming in probably October 1st, and they actually come under the foundation with I-beams, secure the house, and they'll actually physically lift the houses up.
They're going to cut the basement off and have big steel beams that they put in. I don't know how many, 3 or 4 or maybe more. And then they jack the house up, cut all the way around the whole basement and jack it up.
And then the morning of October 8th, they'll actually roll out to the street. And again, we're told they move at about a walking pace. So these can move pretty quickly, and it's going to depend on how quick the utilities can drop these spaghetti lines in front of us. and then they get to this big connection, so the houses might be staged and waiting there when the connection goes down. Hopefully, though, CEI has told us they're going to be there first thing in the morning, so hopefully everything will be down, and ideally the houses would come up at a walking pace, swing up here. They want to come off Liberty, so they're going to come down and come off Liberty here and come into the back lots.
In a way, I'm so glad it's going to be over with instead of having not ever knowing.
I feel like I'm dreaming that this is not really happening, but it's been a wonderful adventure.
It does take such a long time by the time you go to the city and get planning permission, negotiating with the people that own the houses and assuring them that we're going to treat them the way we would want to be treated if we lived next door to them. So it's fun to, after all of those months, that we actually see it happening.
I probably will have to retrain my car to go to Beach Street instead of to Jacob Street.
My name is Lynn Taliak.
And how long have you lived here?
We bought this house, 160 Beach, in 1978. It was kind of an old dump of a rooming house, and we spent 2 years gutting it, restoring it to the current home that it is. We raised 5 kids here. So we've seen a lot happen in this neighborhood.
But I just talked to one of the neighbors who have a family in from Texas and brought their children out, and they said, how often do you see houses moving down the street?
I think it's exciting. I like when things change. And, I move furniture around all the time because I like things to look different once in a while.
This has kind of been going on for for many years, and I guess I looked forward to it, but I dreaded it too. But it's gone very smoothly, and everybody has done a wonderful job doing this. So.
It's wonderful. You don't often see such immediate, well, if you can call this immediate, but tangible results of the planning that you do. So it's wonderful to see this really happening, and this has been the plan to move these houses onto the 2 lots started in the mid-1970s when the college went to the city of Berea and said we'd like to be able to move these houses as part of our commitment to the Save Old Berea Historic District. So, only taken us 40 years to make all of this happen.
We had hope and change in Washington, and we have hope and change here. We're changing. I'm hoping that it looks nice.